guess we live.
You live.
Live. Oh, okay. Well, hello everybody. I know it's late. We had some technical difficulties. The blame it on the the media people for being us for making us late. Um, so tonight we're gonna have a conversation about preachers' kids and preachers' grandkids, and the what's the word I want to use? The stress that they have as the title of a preacher's kid or preacher's grandkid. And so tonight is going to be open conversation. So if you're watching, and baby Judah is going to also co-host this. But we ask if you have anybody that's watching to to if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Also like and share. We do have some people in the audience that may have some questions. But I want to ask the question. Oh, she didn't got mad. She big mad. My first question that I want to ask is, um, why is there such a high standard for the pastor's kid or the pastor's grandkid? Uh, just whoever starts talking first.
I would personally say that I feel like they just think we're an extension of our parents. So therefore they expect for us to be the one of the cloth as well, but they forget that we're not the ones called. It was our parents. So I think they expect a lot more because of them trickling it on down to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keon, you want to add to that?
Look, she took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Cause just because y'all put my dad, well, it was my dad. Just because y'all put my dad on this level, don't mean that
Hmm.
Timothy Woodard got to be on the same level as Gene Woodard is.
Exactly.
Okay. So do they? Does the Saints, quote
Hmm.
unquote, usually the Aints? Well, more or less the Aints. Let me use that one. More or less the Aints. The Saints to say they Saints, but they really ain't.
Mhm.
do do they? Why? Well, do they? Yeah. Do they expect you to be? What's the word? Holy, and I'm using that very
Of course.
loosely. Holy.
Of course. They think that we're supposed to be just saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost from the birth. But they have to realize that at the same time, you have to give us room to find out who we really are. Yes, we were born into this, but that doesn't mean that's who we really are.
I agree with that. And then I think and my father actually did a sermon about it one time because he was like so tired of everybody coming back telling him what we were doing and talking about us. And it was just basically where he's just like, my kids weren't called to do this. It was me. But how about we talk about your kids? Don't hold my kids to any different level than yours because they got to live their life just like you.
Right.
Nor did we get a book on things that we can and can't do as preacher kids.
Exactly. That's good.
Okay. So, and we what sins? And this is one that just bothers the crap out of me because they expect y'all to be, um, this saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. But what sins can you not commit and get in trouble for?
Repeat that.
Okay. Okay. What sins can you not commit because they have a whole list of sins that they don't want you to commit? The ain'ts has these whole
Hmm.
list of
Hmm.
sins that you can't commit while your parents is serving.
Baby, even if they not serving, they still hold that on to you.
So do.
Boy,
Mhm.
you talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
They expect a lot from the moment your parent steps into that role in that position, it follows you for life. Growing up as a
Yeah.
kid, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go nowhere because I was tired of my parents knowing what I did before I even got back home. And it
Yeah.
was always a don't make your parent look bad or you should be ashamed of yourself. So for me to keep my religion, I just stayed in the house.
But okay, being okay, you said you stayed in the house. Did that also develop a life of depression, anxiety, so forth and so on? Because now you're just secluded into one space, and you're not being free to develop who you are.
Oh, you a good one for that. Yeah, I think
Mm.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But some of us have found that if you find friends in other preachers' kids, like me and Keon, definitely was like a refresher for me to be able to be about everything. I think once you bond with those people who truly get you, it makes it a lot easier.
It's
Okay.
also hard too because like even though we found each other, we became cool. There was a lot of other preacher kids, and I have no filter. There was a lot of other preacher kids that wanted nothing to do with us because they thought they were so much better because what they were doing, it wasn't out in the public eye and they didn't get caught.
Eh,
So it made us look as if we were just the ones that were wrong at all times.
Thanks.
Mm. So let's get this straight. There's some other
Hmm.
PKs out there that has a lot of stuff that they just sweep under the rug.
Yeah, a lot of parents have that. What goes on in this house stays in this house, and that's another issue.
Yeah,
That's a terrible
yeah.
thing.
It's actually damaging if you teaching your kid to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Whoa, whoa! Y'all gonna mess up all these preachers. Y'all gonna mess them all up.
Oh no, not my parents. Ooh, I love my pastor and my dad.
You know,
I love my
okay,
dad, but I just speak the truth.
okay. So, okay, let's take this a little another way. Growing up in the household, what did the household look like as a PK?
Mm.
Who's going first? Look, who wants to go first?
You go on first. You go on first.
Y'all want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you
Go
go
ahead.
first.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I can honestly say my household was amazing. My parents were not strict. I mean, yes, I knew right from wrong. My dad, he was the best role model I can ever ask for. My mom, she did the best that she could. I'm the one that stepped out and chose to be my own person. But in my household, like I knew what time church was gonna be. I knew I had to be home. If I was in that house on Sunday morning, I'm getting my butt up to go to Sunday school. I'm going to morning worship. I'm gonna eat. Then I have afternoon service. Nope, there's another program. I have evening service. I'm gonna go to school the next day. But don't forget Bible study, all that. Like I didn't miss a beat. So my household was, like I said, it was not strict, but I knew I was going to church when those doors were open.
You knew what was expected.
Um,
I wouldn't say that it was expected. It's just that's just what it was.
I mean, okay, so I guess my household, it was I ain't even gonna lie, my household was strict. Not even gonna
Mhm.
lie. But my parents, they made us go everywhere, and then especially during the times where we were traveling back for the churches, because my parents moved away. Where sometimes we were doing 2 hour drives to church, 2 hours back, and they expected us if we were not doing anything, like if we weren't at work, we had to go. As children, before we were even able to work, every church activity my dad wanted us to be a part of, because how does he get other people's kids to be a part of if his kids aren't a part of? So we
That's
had
true.
to go. Boom squad, different dance teams, whatever it was in the church, you had to go.
Right.
But my parents, I say my parents were really great, and they taught us why, and they taught us about image and how it portrays, and just not making them look embarrassing or anything. And they've taught us that sometimes you aren't doing anything wrong, but because the ain'ts feel like you should be basically reading a Bible 24/7.
Listen. Before Tim jumps in, I told the church the other day I don't read all the time anyway. I don't. I don't pray all the time because if you keep your and I guess this is just me. From the new school, just a little bit. Not too. Don't judge me. I'm a little from the new school, but kind of the old school. I still have a life. Um,
Yeah.
God knows my heart. You know,
Mm-hmm.
He knows what's up. You know, I ain't leaving him no time soon. If I do, that's on me. But anywho, okay, Tim, I'm sorry.
One subject we haven't talked about. I've never seen here lately. I've never seen a 2-year-old, 3-year-old wearing a 3-piece, 4-piece suit outfit to church. Now me, looking at pictures, going back looking at pictures. This what I have on there was something that I would wear to church now. But
Mm-hmm.
back then, I was in a shirt, tie, jacket, pants, church shoes, church socks, even down to the socks I was rocking to be
Yeah, we
dressed.
had our ruffle socks.
Yeah. So, in my now, my parents wasn't strict. They laid rules down. No, nobody in the house when they're not at home. Of course, I messed that up a couple times. Grounded. Um, in the house before the street lights come on. Didn't get my first cell phone until I was 16.
No, I lied
Ooh.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Where
Yeah.
kids now are, of course, 2 and 3 with cell phones. But that's how my household was.
so okay,
I didn't get
so
my first. I didn't get my
let's.
first phone until my 16th birthday.
He brought up a he
Same.
brought up a good point of the cultural change. Is there as being PKs? Do you see now that the culture is far better than it was then, or vice versa?
I feel like the world's now starting to be like, let them be. Like the
Mm-hmm.
newer generation is
Mhm.
kind of like, let them live their life, let them be, you know?
Yeah.
But you still got them old souls that keep us older ones
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
on that chain. So,
Which I'm grateful for how we were brought up, you know. Like I was grateful that they showed us how we were supposed to live our life. But I'm thankful now that we have the space to be who we want to be.
Mhm.
And if you are a real true Christian, you're gonna love and accept us the way that we are instead of crucifying us for making one little mistake because it didn't go to your standards.
Wait a minute, hold on. They crucify you because you make
Oh yeah.
a mistake
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that did not go with their standard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do
And step on some
ooh
toes now. Step on
ooh
some
wee
toes.
ooh wee. Why why do they do that?
Deflection
Mm-hmm.
Of what?
off of themselves.
So you
Trying to
telling me what? So you telling me that these same people who crucifies folks as also doing the same exact thing. Okay, maybe I'm on the wrong live today. They doing the
no,
exact same thing, but they don't want their skeleton to be out.
Mm-hmm.
so they deflect. And they probably are doing a lot worse, but want to
Mm-hmm.
deflect and point us out so much because we're already out there because of who our parents are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What I heard growing up a lot. Well, she can't sing in the choir because she got a kid out of wedlock.
Mm.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Somebody said, okay.
Cause you know
That's
me.
that's one of them. Then you need
Yeah,
to go back and sit on the morning's bench because you ain't been saved. Well, you don't know my conversation with God. You don't know my heart with God.
exactly.
Just like if I had sex at a wedlock, you don't know me and God's conversation after the fact.
Exactly.
But we got we
Keep
got too many
going.
people sitting on their high horses like they're God, like they are sinless,
Hmm.
like they have died on Calvary for you.
Mhm.
So, as PK's did that make you quote unquote shun away from certain circles because it's that mother's board, I know for sure. It's that mother's board. There's gonna be the hellions, like for real, and then be smiling in the pastor's face and the first lady's face, knowing they done talked about them.
Oh, you got to do the mother's board and the pastoral committee. Don't forget
Not
them.
the pastor's aide. so
They be the
so
main ones.
oh, but my question is, did that put you all in a position of I'm staying to myself because these people are not quote unquote my people?
Most definitely did.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I feel like it pushed me all the way to that circle as to where I am now, where you don't know if I'm alive or dead. You can look at my social media. I'm so much to myself now because of how bad it was that I just don't want to. I don't want nobody knowing.
That's why they also have a lot of people out. You don't come to church unless it's Easter Sunday or Mother's Day, maybe Christmas.
Because we can only deal with you for so much.
Right.
Okay. So what was I feel like I'm the only one asking questions here. What is what was the expectation? The expectation from the church for the PK.
Sing in the choir every Sunday. Come in dressed to a T.
Mhm.
Hair did, clothes looking good.
Uh-huh. No earrings, because I sure would have had to take these out.
Oh, we had to wear earrings, and you better have a necklace on.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah. You had to be dressed from
Fully.
head to toe. And I come up in a generation, if your dress or skirt was a little short, here come that lap cloth instantly.
Show did.
Instantly. Like
now
I just
listen,
walked through the door, hold up.
My daddy would come out the pulpit to put it on me.
listen. You know Stella got plenty of lap cloths.
And that's
You know
why I
she
was
got plenty.
fine. She just made one the other day. Like
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's talk about pastors' anniversaries.
Mhm.
Oh, it show's face just completely changed the mood. Pastors'
Those are
anniversaries.
fun.
Um, what what was the least favorite moment of pastor's anniversary?
Would you
Being
like to get
walked
him to
in
say
by
something?
I'll go last.
Okay, so
We
the
ready for
walking
this
in.
one.
So you didn't want to walk in, or
no,
you
because they make you walk in with somebody who's like your age. It's just weird.
okay?
Why I gotta walk in? I ain't preaching.
Right.
Ain't
Right.
preaching facts.
This
Okay.
is pastor's anniversary, not pastors and pastors' kids' anniversary.
Exactly. And then we gotta all be in the same color, get a crochet
Uh-huh.
on. Y'all doing
Uh-huh.
too much. I don't even want to be in this front row.
Okay. So walking in, I think Timmy said, "Do you want to say something?"
Yeah, they're gonna go around. Would you like to speak? You have something you want to say to the pastor? No, I talk to him enough at home.
Okay. Okay. So Keon, what's yours?
I think because I really didn't have problems with what they named. I think my least favorite part would have to be them, like the saints and ain'ts coming to me asking me like, what do you think we should do for your mom and dad? And I suggest something, but it's not good enough because it's not their idea. But then they get upset because I'm like, hold on, they're not gonna like that. But then here comes a whole argument. Just go ahead, do what you do, baby. Go ahead, you got it. I'm not gonna
Hey,
argue. You
but
got
the
it.
most satisfying part is when they get your parents something that they don't like, and y'all get back
Mm.
home and you hear what they say.
And it's ours. I'll
And then I'll be like,
we'll take that
I tried to
candy.
tell them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
tried to tell them.
And then you tell them about the conversation, and you're like, they should have listened.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um.
Tried. That's why I don't go to the meetings. I tried.
So when it comes to church business meetings, that's a whole different
Mm.
story. When it it's Keon's head already like, bro. When, when it comes to the church business meeting, are you looked at as a member, or you looked at just the pastor's kid?
So now I'm looked at as a member. Like I'm grateful for my church now. I'm looked at it like as a member. But a previous church that I shall not name, a previous church, I mm, I couldn't open my mouth. Like they just nothing I said was good enough. It just mm-mm. So now I'm looked at as a member, but then no. Mm-mm.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a whole lot of mess. I can't even answer that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just stopped going to the meetings. Just don't.
Right, because like it really don't matter. They just gonna say that you just gonna do whatever your dad wants you to do.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, and they don't think that your opinion is really your opinion, regardless. So,
Exactly.
what's the point?
I don't have church business meetings. Uh,
All right.
you know,
All right.
because majority of the time, church business meetings is nothing but politics. You
Yeah.
know, that deacon chairman already got up in his mind what he's gonna say and how he's gonna say it, which automatically goes against what the pastor's vision is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
So there's politics, and they really
Mm-hmm.
want to vote him out anyway. Anywho,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different subject.
All the
Um,
little leaks and stuff.
okay, so when you're, I think Keon, I don't know if your dad has he ever been voted in as a pastor or
Oh yeah.
okay. Um, I know Asia. I think that's her name. Her dad's voted in as a pastor. Was your dad ever voted in? He just started
he
his.
was. It was before I was born. He was.
Okay.
He was.
So, what did the process look like after he accepted the call to a certain church? What did the household look like then after he said yes?
I got a good
For
one.
yeah.
The church my father's at now. Um, I was attending a church close by. We were all as a unit, but when my pastor dad got voted in for that one, everybody just automatically assumed I was coming with him, and my father automatically assumed I was coming with him. So in the household, it was kind of like you're gonna leave that church and you're gonna come over here. But I'm like, I'm gonna make my decision whenever I'm ready because I'm an adult now. So the household was a little tense because every time something wrong happened at the church I was attending, my dad be like, "We never did that at you at this church."
Hmm.
Pettiness.
Okay. I I want to ask a specific question about a specific church, but I don't want to uh, be nasty. But anywho, um, um,
You can.
um,
My dad says they have no way to reach me.
I'm sick. They have no way to reach me. When you was
Mhm.
when you was in
Mhm.
Kentucky, um, the church, um,
Mhm.
close to Bowling Green. We'll use that as an
we
example.
got you.
We
We
Um,
got you.
got
We,
you.
you know.
what was the what was one of the worst experiences that you ever had at that church?
Ooh.
Mm.
It would have to be a tie between one of the we're gonna say leaderships, deacon or pastor. We're not gonna put a title out there. Threatened my father because he like his ideas, and I had to sit there and still smile and cheese, knowing I wanted to go and slap this man for my daddy because he held the cloth, not me.
Yep.
Or it's one of the times where they was swearing that, oh, my daddy must be getting some extra money from the church because ain't no way he got these nice things off of the church salary, forgetting about my mother's salary.
Mm.
And you have to smile in these people's faces knowing that they talking about your parents, and everybody know your parents is your sensitive topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would ask Keon, but I don't
You
see
can,
nothing. You know, the heels just don't give me that vibe. Like they don't.
because my parents stay out the way. They
You
stay out
know,
the way.
they come, they say, they come, they sing, and go on home.
X.
We out. Because let me tell you, and I will say this. Y'all know my dad is as humble gets. I have
Mhm.
always told my dad, and I told my mom, don't y'all do nothing to put us out there in the spotlight. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody's watching. They just waiting for y'all to
yeah.
make one little mistake. I said, don't do that. If you think it's gonna be a mistake, don't do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows if you come for Pastor Frederick and Stella Hill, I'm right there. No, no, don't speak to them like that. I'm right
Yeah.
there.
You know, I. What's your question? I know Abby has some questions that she got. Just now, she don't have no questions, Timmy. Yeah. Just ask. Now she don't have no questions. Ain't that something?
Didn't you say she had a whole notebook?
Notebook.
So
Just
what
give
about
me one.
y'all? What was y'all struggle?
Who?
Yo, what was y'all hardest thing as a pastor's kid?
The good thing about this, I was not a PK. I was a PK God kid, and I didn't have to really associate myself with the pastor because when I left, I went home to my house,
Mm-hmm.
and although he thought, let me put it that way, he thought he was in charge.
Hmm.
He thought because I'm me, and I'm gonna do me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the let me find your social medias and go through them and all of that and uh but good thing about it is now the you know he has moved himself out of the way. He don't talk to me, don't speak to me, he don't respond to text messages, which is all right with me.
Hmm.
All is well. I'm not losing nobody's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of
Let
y'all
me
have?
ask y'all this:
Go ahead.
have y'all ever had it where they were trying to hook up the PK with somebody else,
Oh.
but feeling
Look, we all laugh, so you know when you all laugh, you know what it is.
It's Timmy just outbursts because he already knew.
Keon.
Uh-uh.
So
Why
okay,
I keep getting called out?
Hey,
okay.
my pastor, your daddy, that one time.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. That was how we first met. Like I was like, I don't even know him.
They was the private relationship ministry. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Uh, did with that being said,
Mm.
they had a did they have a expectation of who they wanted to see you with?
oh,
So um, my dad has always allowed me to be myself, but he has always told me he's like, I know who I would love to see you with.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's your decision. I can't make that call for you. I know who I like, but you know who you like and you know who's best for you. Now if it's somebody that I don't feel like aligns with you, I might say something, but I'm not gonna pick and choose who you decide to be with.
I can agree with that from my dad too.
Okay.
But back to the question where one of y'all had asked, what was one of the problems?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Um, did anybody have a problem with? Oh, y'all need to get baptized like right now. Like go up there and get in that chair, sit down, cause you finna get baptized.
I never had that problem. Thankfully. Never
So
had
you
that problem.
they forced you to get baptized.
It was like kept pressuring. Like
Oh,
when are
when
you
you gonna
gonna
do
do
it?
it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you the
Thankfully, my
pastor's
daddy
kid.
was.
Oh, go ahead.
I said thankfully, my daddy was newly getting in, like being an associate minister at that time, and he wanted to make sure that we did it before ourselves, not because he wanted us to.
Mm. Yeah, listen, I was at a church and they asked me all the time, when you gonna join? When you gonna join? You've been coming for a long time, so when you gonna join?
That's annoying.
When the Lord
When the
tell me to
Holy Ghost
join,
tell me to.
Amen.
bruh. Like, why? What's with the pressure? Okay,
And then when you join, they want nothing to do with you. You
Yeah.
big
coming in doing
facts.
this and that.
Yeah,
You trying to take over. You
Yeah.
I
sing too good. You play too good. The people love you. Well, then I'll just take my letter on back to my church.
take it back.
Like, you
Yeah,
wanted me here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think is PKs. Y'all listen. Y'all have a lot of pressure, and I'm gonna say kudos to y'all because I couldn't do it. I would have done been in jail or under the jail or something
It's
because
not
this.
easy.
Yeah, listen, y'all might as well y'all call to be PKs. That's y'all's calling.
Excuse me? No.
Yeah,
I think
that's
our
y'all.
parents trained us well to know how to deal with situations,
Yeah,
so I think we were trained very well.
And I'm thankful for that because now that both of my
Yes.
parents are gone, of course I can carry that with me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay. I just wanted to hear the conversation because y'all y'all pretty much on Front Street, but y'all live in the shadows. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh,
Most
yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Y'all on Front Street. All eyes are on you, but you in the background, waiting for
Mm-hmm.
y'all
Oh,
to
my
mess up
God.
so they can vote the pastor out. Maybe I'm the only one that's seen that before. But anywho, well, your child did this, and now we got to get rid of
Oh, I'm glad that one day issue because my brother was crazy.
you. Yeah. Um.
I ain't had that experience.
Yeah. So you got a question? No, Abby, you got a question. Ask.
Yeah, ask some questions. We
Yeah,
ready.
she got one, and she hiding behind the computer. Uh, huh?
Like, did y'all ever sense the fake love on these occasions?
Ooh, girl.
I couldn't hear her.
I
She
felt that one
said,
in my spirit.
"Did you
Right.
ever sense the fake love
Can I answer
on
that?
these occasions?"
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So all the time. Even to this, like, even to this second, for me personally, if you know my parents, everybody loves them. Everybody loves them. And if I'm at an event with my parents, they love me too. But if I'm somewhere and you don't see my parents, all of a sudden, no, those same Christians that was just loving on me, speaking to me, they don't say nothing to me unless I'm with my parents. And that's how life is for me right now. Like, a lot of people on social media will say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Come to this program, come to this program. But in reality, you don't like me. And
Yeah.
the thing about it is, you don't like me for what reason? So we, as preachers' kids, we experience fake love all the time. I definitely experience, because I'm not like a lot of the other preachers' kids that are still preachers' kids, like they just all in their word. I'm just me. And so I experience fake love from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. And I just laugh about it.
Thanks.
You know, she'll come up with another question. Just hold it. Just hold a minute. But
No.
um, the support level,
Mm,
and me and Keon had this conversation before. Do because she said that when she gets invited to different programs and so forth and so
Mhm.
on without her parents, okay, is the support level the same just in life general? Because you can support me on the church front, but I think Keon has a business, and can you support me outside of church for my business?
Mm, they don't.
I think they do it when they can make it known that they're supporting you.
Yeah,
Kind of like stroke your parents' ego.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm. So, this is the wrong live to be on. Uh, so there's a lot of people out there that kisses a lot of butt.
Oh,
That's a word.
that's a powerful one. Pass the offering plate. There it is.
They kiss a lot of butt to make sure that they still in quote unquote good grace with the pastor.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Knowing you again, I think we said it since we started. Knowing good well you don't like the first family.
Preach.
I'm going on a limb on this, and it's probably going to be taken down. This live probably be taken down because of what I'm going to say. So you telling me there's a lot of Donald Trump lovers
Yeah, we
that
already
can't
did that.
stand the Obamas?
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
But if I,
The
but
flags.
but think about it. I mean, that's how church is. We've got a lot
Yeah.
of people who loves quote unquote the ideal of church,
Mhm.
but don't want to do the business or the work of the church like the Obamas did to get the administration back on track.
Amen.
Mhm.
But then you have um, Donald Trump come in and mess everything up, and then you back at square
Mhm.
one. And poor Biden, God bless his heart, he's doing the best that he can to get it back on track.
Yeah.
And then you still, so is it hard to see your parents? And I know the answer to this, but there's somebody may out there that might need to hear it. Is it hard to see your parents struggling to get the church to where it needs to be in order for it to grow and be successful as a church or a movement?
I
Most
would
definitely.
say yes. Like my dad, he has the greatest heart to the point where you walk in there, he just automatically like he believes in you. He believes in you, and I'm over here like, Dad, my discerning spirit. Slow down, hold up.
Yeah.
And then when they do something, I'm like, let me pick up the pieces because you don't, as preachers, kids, you don't want to see your parents hurt. They may not say that they're hurting, but you know how they feel. You can see how they feel. And it is hard seeing people come in and just try to tear up everything that y'all have built together. And you're like, where you even come from to do this? And it's sad that people will walk into a church and just cause that much chaos.
Hmm.
They
Amen.
are, listen, they are miserable minded maggots, is what they are.
Yep.
And they
Hmm.
will eat on every little thing or every little dead thing. And
Hmm.
because they want to see the ministry fail.
Hmm.
And I tell you, again, that's a good grace for being a PK to try to pick up the pieces to keep the
Yeah.
ministry going. I, it as a PK, did you have to? And this is maybe different for everybody. Did you have to wear many different hats for the ministry to keep moving?
I do that now.
Yeah. You're just trying to help your you're trying to help your parents accomplish what they have in their vision to make.
Hmm.
Because that's all you want is to see your parents happy.
Yes.
But then if y'all, and I'm going somewhere with it. If you're trying to help your family, your leaders get to what they see in their vision, why is there always somebody that says, "Well, the Lord didn't speak to me and give me that vision as well"?
That's the devil.
You always have to have one in the group, unfortunately.
So there's
That's
always
the
got to be
devil.
a devil somewhere.
Hmm.
Because one thing that I've heard Cameron say this in his sermon, and I've heard my dad say this, just like God knows what we want and need, so does the devil. The devil knows your vision as well. So he's gonna try to get somebody. Look, now I'm preaching, Cameron. No, I'm playing. He gonna try to get somebody to come in there and destroy your vision that you've been working for and praying on.
Facts. The Tanya, she says, Tanya, I should have added you to this conversation. She says they want what you have built because they're not building. They want to be the pastor.
Whew.
Mm.
Yes,
Lot
they
of
do. A
lot
lot
They
of
want,
them.
or they want to be the pastor, and if it's not they pastor that they voted for, then everything that other pastor do is wrong now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, Tanya, I don't know if she's still on here, but Tanya, she's a person of many hats, and
Yeah.
she and no offense to her church, but she keeps everything together. She's the glue of the church.
She
What
is.
happens when the glue of the church gets burnt out?
Church go up in flames because they don't know what to do.
Exactly.
And arguments, chaos, and the devil coming in and attacking it full throttle.
But the thing about it is, people that know that you're the glue, why are they not trying to help you? They can do the same thing that you doing, but they want to sit back and let you do it all. But the moment you take a break, you done caused the biggest sin.
Because why they got to do it if you don't do it? That's how they
Yep.
think.
Yep.
So when you pause, people say you have done the biggest sin because you paused and took a break.
Mhm. That's not of God. You're supposed to use your talents and your gifts.
What we gonna do without you?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Y'all in the household with PK. I mean with Pastor. So y'all know and hear all. Y'all hear a lot of stuff that us as pew members don't get to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I want to be a little nosy. I want to be a little fly on the wall. What are some conversations? What are some conversations that was said in the household? Let's use this one pertaining to the vision. Because after church business meeting, I know good and well that as a pastor, sometimes the feelings get hurt because the vision is not progressing where it should be. Because
Mm-hmm.
you have that miserable minded maggot that's
Mm-hmm.
stopping the plan of and move of God.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the conversation after a church business meeting? That's what I should have said in the first place. Okay.
I should say for my household, my parents never tried to let us hear those conversations. Now I was
Right.
nosy and I crept around so I could listen because I wanted to know who I needed to beat up. No, I'm just playing. But like, but after a business meeting and somebody's like just delaying the process of the growth, and it really just doesn't make sense as to why they don't want the growth to go forward. It's hard hearing your parents sound a little defeated and not knowing what to do. That
Yeah.
is a very painful and hard thing to have to hear.
Okay.
I think one of our conversations that really got me, um, and I'm not going to say names, but there was a church that when my dad had mentioned opening a church, they told us that we were not going to make it. They said that we were not going to make it at all. And I can honestly say, here we are, over 20 something years still standing. So it was hard hearing my dad claim somebody as a friend, but yet that friend was saying, oh, your church is just a mission. Y'all don't have that many members. Y'all just a mission. Y'all at a storefront church. Okay, well, we're not now because my dad obeyed his vision from God. And now look at us. And I still believe we still going to grow.
Preach.
I felt that because that kind of pulled in my heartstrings. Um, because they say it about every church plant that it's never
Mm-hmm.
going to be successful because statistics
Mm-hmm.
says if it's not where it needs to be in the first 3 to 6 months, it's a no
Mm-hmm.
go. Um,
Yeah.
we're 4 years in, and
Mm-hmm.
we still have some people that still doubting. They like doubting Thomas, but Tanya says people don't want the responsibility, but they are jealous of you for doing the work. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want
Yes.
they don't want to be dedicated like you. They
Mm-hmm.
think you only doing it because it's your parents, not that you would still do it because it's your church.
Mm.
Um,
That's good.
you know,
I low key feel like it's a little jealousy too, because you're in the spotlight and they just want to be sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
they want to be. They want to be at the forefront, and so they jealous because they not.
But I tell them by all means you can have it.
But they get
You
they
want to
get it and
try
then they
it?
want to give it away.
Listen,
Right. Because
I
you
get told
you
all the
can't walk
time,
a mile in my shoes.
what is it? Can't walk a mile in my shoes.
You
I
can't
get
walk
told
a
all the
mile.
time, I don't want your headache.
Mhm.
And they said they in the sanctuary talking about, no, I don't. I don't
Mhm.
want that. Yeah. That's your question yet? Yeah, just send it to me. Yeah, or you can stick it in the chat. Oh, she don't want to do that. Um, what other questions y'all got? Well, I think she asked the question. Okay. Um, what questions y'all got? Y'all have any questions? Anybody
I
on
hear.
on the live have any questions? Cause okay, all right. Here's first question. Did you ever feel like your parents had trouble separating pastor and parent?
No, I didn't. I never had that
Not
problem.
in my household.
Yeah, I
No.
never had that problem.
Mm-mm.
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 They didn't have that problem. Nobody had that
Mm-mm.
problem.
Mm-mm. When he
Mm-mm.
was at
Mm-mm.
home, it was work and dad, and then when he
Yep.
was at church, it was pastor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I walk in the church, I call him pastor. When I go to home, I'd be like Pastor Dad.
At church is pastor and at home is pastor dad. Okay. And you
Same.
said what? Okay. You had the. What was your what was your experience behind that? You see what I'm
I
saying?
feel like my papa was always a preacher.
So he was always.
Day and night.
So he couldn't turn it off.
Mm.
Mm.
Somebody else I know.
Yeah. They called it shady today. They like somebody else
Like you,
like me.
your flipper's broke.
My flippers broke. Okay. So did that did that change your view of your pap hall any certain way?
I mean, not really. I mean, I feel like it was. That's just who he was.
That was just who he was.
I mean, I know now. That that's not who he was, because when he stepped down and decided that I can't do this anymore, um, he was a totally different man. Like it wasn't Pastor 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It was, this is who he really is. And so I never actually got the feeling of this is my Papa until after he stepped down, because he was in preacher mode 24/7. I mean, everything that I done was looked at through a preacher's eye,
Mm.
Mm.
not through a parent's eye.
So, did y'all ever have that moment with? I'm going to say since y'all didn't experience, that certain thing, but as the saint or the saints or the ain'ts, they always had this eye that they viewed you as and they see you as. Um, did that also cripple? Is the word I want to use? Cripple who you was in ministry because granted as a PK you're in ministry too,
Mm-hmm.
point blank period. It's what's name looking at me like, bruh, no, don't say that, bruh. You're in ministry too, and so did it cripple you in ministry because again you had to put on this facade to live through their eyes of what they what they think per se. I think I asked that right.
I feel like as kids, yes, but once I became an adult, it was kind of not black sheep, but like I just stopped caring because it was too much pressure to keep caring and keep up an image and try to be the perfect pastor kid or not try to embarrass me. I just stopped caring eventually.
Okay.
And I feel like I was the opposite. I didn't care as a kid.
You didn't care as a kid, but now when you became adult, or somewhat of an adult, you begin to care.
Everybody associates me with them.
They associated.
That you wasn't raised like that.
You know better.
Oh, I
I
hate
know
that
better,
line.
do better.
You know better. Uh, the other question is there's 4 questions. So question number 2 is, did you know from the beginning you didn't want to go into ministry? Did you automatically know that I'm not? And I don't want to throw ministry out loosely, but did you know from the beginning, from Jump Street, this ain't it?
I never really thought. I think when I was younger, I knew in my heart that's what I wanted to do. That was the then church, but the now church, it's like it makes it harder for you because, yes, we grew up in church, but there's been times that we strayed away a little bit. But it's like in that moment of us straying away, it's still like implanted in people's minds. So it makes it harder for us to even want to come back to ministry.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay. Tanya, I'm gonna catch up with your comments here in a minute. Um, question 3 was, did you ever feel the church was put above you or your siblings growing up?
No.
Never.
No, never.
My parents made that very clear.
Hmm. Family first.
Always.
Well, God and family. But
Right, right.
yeah, no, no.
Um, and then the last question is, did your parents try to live through you?
Heck no.
No. No.
What?
No.
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 I have heard. I've heard people tell me that when I was born and growing up, that my dad would always say, "That's gonna be that's gonna be my preacher right there. That's gonna be my preacher right there." No, sir. I don't know what he was trying to put on me, but no, that's not it. I don't want it
My
You don't
unless,
know.
huh?
my
You
grand
don't know, Timmy Cole. You don't know.
Until the Lord put it on my spirit and lay it out right in front of me. No,
What do you gotta do? Come
He
down
said
3 times,
no.
hit you upside the head?
I'm trying to tell you. I'm gonna have to.
um. So, Tanya said, For my mom, it was hard. It's for my mom, it was hard. It probably has separated a little bit more now because I'm older and I understand the call and I know she's mom at home. The
Hmm.
thing is, the thing is who she is at the church is who she is at home. That's her personality. We love Pastor
Hmm.
Adams. We love Pastor Adams.
Yes, we do.
Uh,
That's my pastor.
okay, Tanya, since you're on here, I just want to ask the question: as a PK, was it hard not to be in the spotlight? Because you know now I know it for some people they don't want the spotlight, but you have that one individual or that certain saint and ain't that always got your name in their mouth.
amen.
It's an amen. Always got your name in their mouth, and they always trying to bring a bad look on your family.
Sometimes it's other preachers' kids, but hey.
Sometimes it's like other preachers.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. It's not my question.
Tanya's, I know she's typing. I know she's typing. So as a PK, was there always rivalries between other preachers' kids?
I would say always, but there's definitely one that I'm just like, why are you so mad at me? I don't even know why you mad anymore. You've been mad for years. Why are you mad?
I would say majority of the bricks. Yeah, it was just some that you just look weird to me. I just couldn't get that with you.
She said some of y'all just looked weird.
She's awful. Oh my God, Asia.
I'm sorry.
Tanya says we always in the spotlight, even when we're not at church. Big facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even when you at
Definitely.
home behind closed doors, you still in the spotlight.
Right. Somebody listening, if you repost something, everything.
Screenshot.
Yeah.
Screenshot your
Yeah.
private story ain't even no more.
Your private
Right.
story isn't private anymore. Because there's somebody that made a fake account trying to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So there's there's rivalry in PKs. To a certain extent, because she said if you just ugly, we ain't Jen. You know.
Oh my God.
I didn't say ugly.
Why?
Listen, Tanya had a good point. They tell on you like you a kid.
Amen.
And you a
Yep.
whole you grown. You in your own house,
Grown.
got your own bills, got your own payments, and they still telling on you.
Yeah.
We grown.
Every day.
Well, I seen them over at the liquor store. I'm grown.
How'd you see me if you wasn't there?
I luckily don't have that problem. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother topic of itself because they don't want to tell what they doing, but they telling what you doing. But I don't have
Yeah.
that problem anymore. Especially now that me and my family are separated now. They're in Alabama, I'm in Kentucky. They just let me do me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let me go back to this rivalry because I know good and well that there is some churches or some PKs that has the mentality, my church is better than your church.
Mm. I don't got that
And
experience. So I'm gonna tell you, I don't care.
oh, you had that experience.
I said I don't have that experience. God tell them I don't care. You
Mm,
arguing with yourself.
I'm weak because some PKs think because my dad or mom is the pastor, our church is booming, and y'all got more sinners than saints in there, and you can shout and
I
run
can't.
all day long, and still ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody in there saved.
Right.
Oh, never mind. I'm
I've never
not
said
even
that.
gonna
But
go
all my dad.
there.
Tanya said there is a few of them out there. They compete for no reason. They compete for no reason.
Yes.
My
Like,
church
why
is
is it
better than yours.
competition? Mm-hmm.
But those churches that be like, my church is better than yours, be having deacons that sleep in with the women in the church, deacons
Yeah.
that sleeping with the men in the church, pastors that sleeping with kids. I mean,
Ooh,
I mean,
Ooh, let me drink some water. Timmy just listening. Let me get some water. I don't know what the next question's gonna be. Hold on.
Okay,
shoot.
okay. So let's get into
No,
it. Hey, this is the whole purpose of the conversation.
Oh
uh-uh.
God.
I
So
think
as
my dogs need me,
PKs,
Cameron.
Right.
listen,
Well,
as
I
go
gotta
get my
go.
PKs,
charger.
y'all know all the tea of who's sleeping with who doing what, who the drunk, and all of that. Y'all get all the tea as a PK. It's fine. I'll let y'all catch
We
up.
don't know what you about to ask. We like, hold on.
Well, I wholeheartedly believe that there is well, I'm not gonna ask no question because I could go there, but well, let me just read Tanya's statement. we all are striving to get to God, and the goal is to win souls to Christ. So why are we
Right.
competing? Let's work together. Now, Tanya, I feel that. But then you have
Yeah.
those churches that don't want to work together because
Don't
they
work
don't
with them.
like. And I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk very, very on thin ice when I say this. They don't like the pastor. So I'm not going to cross the street to work with you because I don't like the pastor. You don't know me, bruh. So how you not? How you gonna say you don't like me and you don't want to work together?
Because you're not the pastor that they voted for.
Okay. What if the pastor is has been busted? Let's use this. What if the pastor has been busted for a crime and their face is all over the news?
Oh, oh,
Uh-oh.
hey.
And the church, listen to me
Whew.
closely, and the church keeps them in position. Is y'all must know some people because y'all's faces y'all already know. Is the church okay? I'm gonna have to word this just right. Is the church in a spirit of death because I'm so familiar to what I'm used to, and I don't want to vote it out to get something fresh?
Can I just say this?
Okay.
Now, I don't know my Bible all the way, but I would say this. He who is without sin cast the first stone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what my answer is for that.
I
Okay.
feel like also it might be where there's a lot more people in the church that is already in that loop with him. So you
Mhm.
can't cast out if you already in that loop too.
That is true too.
You can't cast out if you already in. God have mercy. Y'all giving me sermons here. Good life enrichment topics. Um. So so we have to be at a position or at a place where we are all working together to. And I think Tanya said our common goal is to get to heaven. That's the common goal. But some people don't have that goal. Their goal is to pad the pews and they're not worried about the soul. And as PKs, and this is my last question, and my last question because we've been over an hour. My last question,
Mhm.
as a PK, at some point in time, does your vision as a PK does it have to line up with your parents' vision?
No. Live your
No,
life.
because our visions are different than our parents.
Right. I'm not meant to be you. You lived your life. It's time to live mine. Your vision might not be my vision.
I'm living my best life.
Mhm.
Ain't going back.
Ain't going back and forth with you. No, I'm just saying.
Ain't going back and forth with you, preacher.
Okay.
No.
Well, any last questions for Facebook? Tanya, she done wrote all up in the comment section.
I know
You
Tanya should have been on the live. That's my
yeah,
girl.
I want to hear her side of the story because
Me
I know
too.
she got some good stories. I know she got some good stories. We may have to do this next month. Y'all got something to do
Yeah.
next month?
Mm-mm.
I'm here by
I'm
myself.
just gonna ask you the same question I asked you this time. Who I was on the panel?
That. Because I ain't
Tread
down.
lightly. You gonna see them rivalry.
uh, Tay
I'm down
said,
here.
I think a little different. I think a little different. Just like I don't play about marriage, I don't play about ministry. When you hold a position like a pastor or a minister, I feel you have to be more accountable with your life. You can't
Facts.
be out here doing whatever everyone else is doing. Um, yeah.
Now, I want to add to that, too. I know a pastor who had got in trouble, and of course, the mugshot was going around. I got it multiple times.
Oh
Um,
my God.
they have to realize that they don't know exactly what happened or what was going on
Oh.
to make that even happen to
Mm-hmm.
him. But they go with, oh, I bet he did this, I bet he did this, and that's what gets a lot of other stuff started too.
And that's what gets me. Like, if we all are supposed to be Christians and we're supposed to love one another, and like Tanya said, hold each other accountable, how come we were so quick to spread the negative, but wasn't nobody trying to reach out to see, hey, what's going on? I'm
Right,
here if you need me. I
right.
get it. And as preachers' kids, sometimes that's what we need. We just need somebody to say, hey, I get it.
And
Like, what's going on?
genuine people. And I know
Yeah, and it's hard to find those.
Well, I had an individual tell me today, we need community, we need family, and
Mm,
she made a good point. She said genuine people, because you know
yeah.
some folk that they say they are genuine, but in
mhm.
reality they real nasty,
Yeah.
and
Or they say no.
majority of the time is this saints, which are really snakes. Um,
Mm,
yeah,
preaching.
yeah. They say they saints, but they really snakes, and
Yeah.
they're waiting for the opportunity just to bite. They're waiting for the
Mm,
right moment for you to mess up or to do something, so they can put their poison on top of what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, just like y'all PK kids and grandkids, so what if somebody is genuinely trying to check on y'all and y'all push them away?
Okay. The question is,
I can't.
what do you do when someone is really genuine and trying trying to check on you, genuinely trying to check on you, but you push them away
To see what's going on.
to see what's going on?
I struggle with that. And I'm just going to be honest. These
Mm-hmm.
past, I'm going to say about 3 years, my trust in people it has been awful because, like, with my situation, before I tore my ACL, I felt like everybody in the church field loved me. As long as I was spinning down your aisles, you loved me. But as soon as I tore my ACL and I had to sit down for a whole year and nobody saw me, where were you? Like, nobody reached out for real. But then there was some people that reached out, but because I was so hurt by the church turning their back on me, I couldn't separate who was real and who was fake. So to this moment, I don't know about them, but I know for me, it's hard to separate who's really real and who's not real. Like, some people, they really are genuine, but we've been hurt so much, like we don't know what's real anymore.
Mm, I don't trust nobody. It takes a minute for me.
Yeah,
I mean, so many people just put on a front or facade just to get information out of you,
yeah,
just so they can go back or instead play run and tell that or make judgment or whatever. That now it takes a while, and I think I just trust my spirit whenever I feel like somebody's really being genuine. But
hmm,
I have a great sense to know when somebody is really not being genuine.
yeah.
Tanya said, "Trust me, no matter what position we hold, we all go through some
Hmm.
now. How? Oh, she done wrote another book. Tanya's on it today.
I
Uh,
know, add her to the call. Like,
we hold positions we hold. We all are going through some now.
hmm,
Now, how to no? Supposed to be no. I think she fixed it at the bottom. Um, handle it, but some needs counseling, a therapist, or it needs medicine. People don't want to talk about that. Black people don't want to
Oh,
talk about that. Why don't we want to talk about going to sit on somebody's couch?
That's not just
because we were taught that what goes on in the house stays in the house, and you
I
don't go
can't
talk.
relate.
She said, "I can't relate."
I go to my therapist every Tuesday and I'm grateful. I needed her.
I'm I'm grateful now my parents were able to adapt to this day and age where they finally are like, you might need somebody to talk to. But growing up, it was what goes on in this house stays in this house. But I would say in my late teenage years, it was finally where they were like, you might want to go talk to somebody.
Mhm.
It helps.
She
And I can honestly say it helps.
she also added, "We have to talk to someone. I have I have to go to counseling and therapy myself. Being a preacher's kid has been rough for me. Being who I am as a person is rough for me. I take medicine. I smoked for years trying to cope. Thank God I've been set free. I've been set free of that for 6 years. But
Yeah.
it's hard out here. It's hard out here for a pimp trying to get money from the Fed. It's hard. And listen,
It is hard.
and the more, although you can say your pastor is retired or whatever the case may be, you still get looked at as that PK. Whether they're serving or they're not serving, you still get classified. Well, you still a PK. Well, I know who your pastor is. I know who your daddy or your mama is, and
Mm-hmm.
that they will use that as they quote unquote as their advantage to keep you in a we in isolation, in solitude, or in a box, so you never will grow to your full potential.
Yeah.
But it messes them up whenever you come back and just be like, you don't care. And you'll go tell them
Yeah.
yourself. They don't
Oh,
know how to
uh,
respond.
Yeah. I could take y'all three. Y'all could easily write a book with Tanya's and Tanya too. Y'all could easily write a book of the perceptions of being a PK, because y'all have a lot more stories than we can tell on the we have space for on this
Mm-hmm.
live. But because I think that you all have, again, I'm gonna say kudos to being a PK. Kudos, because y'all have endured some pure hell by saints and ain'ts. And I'm gonna keep it there because I want to say something else. Because
Say it.
some other folk, some other folk, they just they would have threw in the towel.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? You don't know. Is that your only four? No more. Um, I I believe the church needs to do a whole lot better in how we treat PKs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because just because you see the kid at the end, or no, let me back up. Just because you see the preacher at the beginning does not mean that they are still not a kid in some sense of who they are or growing, because we're all growing in Christ. So we're always going to have that kid mentality, because don't and I know a couple on here, maybe Tim too, that still has some Peter in them. They'll cuss you and cut you at the same time.
Amen.
so
Whew.
so don't think because they got preacher in front of them, in
Mhm.
front of their title as a PK, that they still don't have feelings and values and morals
Right.
and principles and so forth and so on. Don't knock them down while they're still trying to get up.
Yes.
I feel
I'm the
like
wrong one.
if I can't really speak for
Mm.
like the black generation or the black people, but I feel like white people are really bad at that. Like, um, kick you when you're already down.
Mm-hmm.
For being a preacher's kid and what you done. And, I lived in, my papa messed up a lot. And it was on the news and I encountered a lot of, well, I used to love his preaching, but
Mm.
now what? He still preached and you still liked it then. I mean, he wasn't a preacher when it happened. It
Mm-hmm.
was after the fact. But he stepped down because he already knew that he had fell short.
Mm-hmm.
And so he tried to take himself out of the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like still to this day, it's, well, he was a good man until these last few years. No, he was still a good man. It was just he was already fighting something that he couldn't speak to nobody about because he was a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Like he couldn't speak
Yeah.
to nobody about, well, I'm having a drinking problem, or I was having health issues because I was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have encountered a lot of white preachers that way. Like, you were so supportive until you wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was everything he done good
Just
was automatically void because he done something bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's how it is, with black churches, but I feel like a lot of white churches, like all the churches that my papa was ever a pastor of, they don't speak of him.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't doing that in your church. He wasn't doing that as the shepherd over your church, or it was after the fact. I mean, my papa fell downhill after he took himself down.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just feel like a lot of white people do that. I know she said, like, as the black community, we don't accept therapy or whatever. White people don't either.
Yeah.
You going to
I
therapy
feel,
for what? You better pray.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
feel like the black community is more like a popularity type thing. Like if that preacher is popular, his downfalls are more excused than a preacher who's not as popular. It's all about favoritism.
yeah.
I could see that. I could see that because granted, and I think it's in both communities. The white and the black communities, that we don't accept mental health. We don't want to have that conversation of mental health. How ironic! This is the mental health month. Um, it's okay. It is perfectly fine to go get help. It is okay
Yes.
because if you, granted, I can give you an antidote of Jesus all day long, but when you get your Jesus kick, and we can shout, we can dance, we can speak in tongues, roll on the floor. But when you get up on Monday, you still going to have a miserable Monday, and you're going to have a terrible Tuesday. You're going to have a wacky Wednesday, terrifying Thursday, freaky Friday, and so forth and so on. You can have all of this, but can I be honest? It's okay to go sit down and talk about it. Why do you feel this way? Um, and I know there might be some preachers on here that's watching, but if your church, and I know for me, I don't offer too much mental health, but I rather you go and get the help that you need, um, because I want to see you have longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't get the help you need, that old Satan himself will start speaking of, it's time for you to take yourself out of here, and
Mm-hmm.
then the suicide thoughts begin to happen. So it's
But can I
perfectly
just
fine
add
to.
something to that?
Okay, go ahead.
When you say go get the help that you need, I agree. But one thing I have learned is don't reach out to somebody that already knows your story.
Yep.
I did that one time. I spoke to a lady, she was a pastor. I spoke to her and I thought, I could trust her because I knew her. She used my story about my son in her sermon, and I didn't realize it until I it registered she was talking about my story, and I was like, I wasn't ready to share that at the
Yeah.
moment. So my advice to anybody that's listening, talk to somebody that does not know your story or your past. Let them break you down to your core so that they can help build you up to the person that you are called to be.
Yeah. Because that's all. That's and Keon said it very eloquently, bougie.
Oh my
But
gosh.
she said to break you down to the core, go all the way to the middle of the or the root of the problem, and when you get to the root of the problem, it
Mm-hmm.
now makes way for the root to come out and a new seed to be planted for you to grow
Right.
into who you are. I said not too long ago, we all have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose under the heavens. You've got to know your purpose. But if you don't get to the root of the issue, you will never walk in your purpose because you're still stuck at the root.
Right.
That's like a lot of churches. y'all have that one mother or that one saint that said, especially homecoming, I was the first one to lay the brick, and it's been this way. It's always gonna be this way. Ain't nothing changing. No, this is 2023. Change something. Change something.
Yes,
Uh,
change is good.
Change something or that church gonna die right alongside of you.
Facts. Listen, she gonna be dead and gone. Church still gonna keep moving. I may be late, but in the church, we view the pastor as gods. Ooh, somebody, I heard that in the back.
I don't.
So if they are gods, then their kids have to be Jesus. If we look at the pastors and ministers as regular people, then we would look at the children the same way.
Yeah.
Y'all know some folk, they will lift up that pastor real quick, put him on a high horse and a high
Mhm.
panel.
Mhm.
Don't let him mess up, him or her mess up. Because when that happens, the whole kingdom comes down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is good. Tanya
It is.
said this was good. Uh,
It was.
It was. I enjoyed this.
yeah.
No, she said this was so good.
It's time for the church to be the church, and that's not a judge in a judging way. We have to stop being judgmental.
Tanya commented.
Yeah.
Oh, Tanya, I have a spiritual and a natural counselor. A clinical counselor keeps everything neutral, but a lot of times they can't give you that spiritual side because the spiritual side is what we are made of. So she says, I get both sides. I had to look around the camera because they tell me I can't turn it off. I give them both. I give my people both sides.
You don't give both sides.
I give you more spiritual than I do flesh. But anywho, yeah. Uh, but anywho, because again, Tanya has a good point. There's two sides. There's two sides to every person. Um, you got flesh and you got spirit. So you got two sides. I got to give y'all some Bible in there somewhere. Um, anywho, um, any other questions, thoughts, comments, observations? um, this was I like this.
I
Me
loved it.
too.
I
I like this
appreciate you
topic.
inviting me on.
Hey, no problem. I know there's probably some inboxes from some pastors, but all is well.
All is well.
All is
All
well.
is well.
Yeah. Um, if nothing is, am I missing anything? Am I everybody? Thank you all again. Thank you for joining. To all the viewers, I'm going to make sure. That Facebook don't take this down because I talked about Donald Duck. Um, So if Facebook takes it down, we'll re-upload it. It's fine. We have that capability to re-upload it. But for right now, we ask that you share this with somebody or share it on your page. We had wonderful co-hosts and people who has experienced the life as a PK, and so. I think that's all. Do I got anything else? Am I supposed to say anything else?
Why are you asking me?
I feel like I'm on Sunday morning. I feel like it's Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon. Is there anything? Did I miss anything? Oh, by the way, uh, for those, please watch us at 12 and 5 tomorrow. We do have church. But next Friday, to all the females that are watching, to all females, better yet, if you just want to go to church, male or female, we'll just open it up to everybody. Next Friday, 6:30, we'll kick off our women's conference. Our speaker is, our preacher for that night is Pastor Sam Clayton from Bowling Green. That'll be at 6:30. Saturday morning, this is our women's conference. Saturday morning, we will have the First Lady of Stony Point Baptist Church, Whitney Paul. She will speak at 10:30, and then Sunday night, we will have Sister Heather LaRue at 5 for our 5 o'clock service. So we ask all that can please join us those 3 days for our willing working women I think it's what willing working women conference, and then on May 20th at 12 noon for all women, just all the women, there will be a women no more men's there will be a women's picnic at 12 noon at the West Side Park. If it rains, it will be here at the church. So we invite you to please come fellowship with us on those events. They're posted on our page. Go like us on Facebook if you have not yet. But I think that's all. Y'all got any announcements at your church?
Tomorrow at New Birth, we will be having our Women's Day, and it starts at 10. And believe it or not, I'm one of the speakers.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't have anything to do, come to Bowling Green, Kentucky to New Birth, and we'll be glad to have you.
You better have it live, because I want to see it.
No.
Have somebody record it, because I want to see.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I just back up here to Kentucky and like the Cincinnati, Ohio, Florence, Kentucky area. So if y'all know of any good churches here for me to go find a church home now that I'm back, let me know.
Okay, you at the top of the state. I would
I
say
am.
She all the way
I
up
would have
there.
said drive to Hoptown. Drive to Hoptown, but you at the top of the state. Yeah. Tim, you got anything?
I don't have anything.
You have any announcements?
I don't.
Sure.
I'm sure.
You got any other comments? To all the 6 that's watching, thank you for watching. Listen, go find a church. Go to church tomorrow. We love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do